Hello, good evening. Welcome to News Night here on Metro Television. My name is Bridget Otu. Thank you very much for joining us. The headlines tonight. Supporters of the opposition NDC in Tamale besieged the party office with guns to demand the removal of the acting chairman of the party, Adolf Ali. We'll get a situational report from the grounds. We'll also interrogate fresh allegations against the customs boss of the Ghana Revenue Authority over his alleged role in helping some importers to underdeclare and also evade tax in 2021. And Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association kick against an attempt by the Youth Employment Agency to train and employ SHS graduates to assist nurses at the community health planning services. Economist backs calls for government to make the Chinese yuan an alternative currency for trading to ease pressure on the dollar. Ahead of the FIFA World Cup in November, Qatari government begins deportation of migrant workers who have been protesting for their underpaid wages. We have details of these stories and many more in the next 60 minutes. Thank you very much for joining us. Right. Hello again, and remember we're streaming on Twitter is at Metro TV GH. If you're on Facebook, it's at Newsnight and at Metro TV Ghana. And the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is in the news again, and this time through a confidential letter by then Deputy National Security Coordinator Edward Asumani, who was accusing the Commissioner of Customs Division of the GRA, Colonel Kwadwo Damwa, of aiding trucks in underdeclaring goods and evading tax in October 2021. Now, this follows a series of allegations of corruption and corruption-related offences already being investigated by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We'll go through that and remember his earlier comments about the OSP being a small boy. So we'll go and look at more details of it. And yeah, it says report indicates that a customs intelligence team of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, led by John Agbau, with assistance from operatives of the Special Monitoring Team of the National Intelligence Bureau on October 8, 2020, intercepted and arrested two cargo trucks at Jawolu traffic lights near Fiesta Royal Hotel in Accra on suspicion of underdeclaration and misdescription of goods. And intelligence gathered that the trucks with the registration numbers GW695713 and GT850216 from Aplao upon arrest were escorted to the Customs Laboratory Division at Airport Runabout for re-examination. And it was revealed after the re-examination that a substantial number of goods in the trucks were underdeclared and thus no duties were paid on same. And there's an attached of goods declared and declared goods in the trucks. And it needs stating that during the interception, the traders were sketchious towards the arresting officers, when one of them allegedly placing a call to Colonel Damwa, Commissioner of CDGRA. Subsequently, Agbaru received a call from one Kwadwo Bones to staff officer to the commissioner and instructing him to release the trucks unconditionally. Further, Agbaru received another call from Eduche, Deputy Commissioner of Operations, CDGRA, who also gave similar instructions. Additionally, the trader who placed the call to Colonel Damwa recorded the arresting officers on video to be forwarded to him. Given the implications of this development, particularly those related to tax evasion on the domestic revenue mobilization efforts of GRA, your outfit is urged to investigate the matter and update the ministry accordingly. Your outfit is further urged to take necessary steps to prevent senior officials from undermining the work of customs officers at the various customs checkpoints across the country. Your office is further urged to take necessary steps to prevent senior officials from undermining the work of customs officers at the various customs checkpoints across the country. We'll go on the phone and speak to an anti-grafter crusader, a very well-known man, Mr. Vitus Azim, on this very issue. Good evening, sir, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Right. First of all, are you surprised by this? This is a former deputy national security coordinator, no less, making this known to the public. And given his demeanor, should this one be investigated? And do you think this man is ready to resign?
It's a bit complex because the letter was written in October 2021.
Right.
So the question is it that the Commissioner General made an investigation and did not find any basis for it, that's why it has remained quiet, or somebody decided to sit on it? That's one aspect of it. But if some investigation was done, what action has been taken?
In this case, let's say he's saying that it was the commissioner who let go of the trucks, despite they were underdeclared and they had evaded taxes on specific goods in the truck. And in fact, the officers who apprehended the vehicle were subjected to some form of punishment.
Yes, but it's going to about a year now.
Okay.
So what other action was taken? Or there was no basis for that, for the report, the national security letter. So I'm just saying that's one aspect of it. So I think there's a need for further investigations into this. And then this also coming on the back of the Office of Special Prosecutors indictment of the same person.
Right.
It creates problems. Someone may say, I read that comment that somebody was decided to sort of do something to Mr. Canada more. Why is it that this is coming now when the thing was there last year? So, one, we need to do further investigation to find out whether there is a basis for these actions. But the other side is, if it is found out that yes, he was involved in this, then the necessary action has to be taken.
Okay.
You don't even need to wait for the person to resign. The appointed authority should be able to take action on the person and not wait for the person to voluntarily resign. So those are the two aspects that I'm talking about.
So you're saying that the timing of it does not make it look clean. It looks as if somebody is out to get him. Is that the point you're making here?
Well, I'm not saying it looks like it, but people can give that interpretation to it. Because otherwise somebody will slip on the job. What happened since October 2021? And we never heard of anything up to date. And now that it's coming up after just on the back of the special prosecutor's indictment and following his outburst of the research officer, has that now given rise to this letter being made public? Okay. So that's just what I'm saying. They are just questions I'm asking.
Okay. What would you recommend? What would you say should happen?
I would recommend that some further investigations be made into this whole, should I say, scandal.
Right.
And then if it is found that, yes, he and other officers were guilty, because I think there are about two other people whose names have been mentioned.
Right.
For asking that the truck should be allowed to go unconditionally.
Okay. All right.
So we need to investigate further. We shouldn't just target Canada more alone. We should look at who else had a role to play in this. And why did somebody sit on the letter if that was the case?
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vitus
welcome.
Azim, there speaking to us. And former Tamale Central MP Inusa Husseini's son, Abdul Inusa, has been charged for engaging in romance fraud and money laundering in the United States. A federal jury convicted 31-year-old Abdul Inusa after a 3-day trial for his involvement in a Huntington-based scheme that defrauded individuals in multiple states through the use of false online personas. It is believed that these frauds were perpetuated from January 2018 through to December under the false personas of Miriama and Grace. The jury found Inusa guilty of receipt of stolen money, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and 2 counts of wire fraud. United States Attorney Will Thompson said some of the victims of this fraud do not recognize themselves as victims and still believe these false personas were real. United States District Court Judge Robert C. Chambers presided over the jury trial. Inusa is scheduled to be sentenced on November 21, 2022 and faces a maximum penalty of 50 years in prison. Right, and he's the son of a former MP, and so the father has responded. The former Tamale Central MP Inusa Hussaini has confirmed that his son has indeed been convicted after someone used his account details to receive fraudulent cash. Just listen to what he said.
Told me that his colleague students, one of his colleague students wanted a car. And that has said that the car was the auntie who wanted it. He has documents that entitles him or allows him to buy auction vehicles. That he used his license to purchase that vehicle for that friend who was a colleague student. It turned out that colleague student was engaged in this fraud, or what is it? And so that itself is the process of the colleague student are process tainted by fraud. So the fact that he allowed the process to come into his account means that he's received stolen property. He's engaged in wire fraud because the money was tainted by fraud, and he has been and money laundering because the buying of the vehicle allowed the money to be laundered. Well, I told him that, first of all, he's 31 years old, and so he must be responsible for his own actions. I told him that if I were him, ask the colleague student how he came by the money. That's the first thing. And so, not having asked the colleague student how he came by the money, he has aided in the commission of a crime.
And that was the former MP there. To one of our headline stories, and unidentified supporters of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, in Tamale, in the early hours of Tuesday morning, stormed the Northern Regional Branch office of the party with guns, demanding for the removal of the acting chair of the party, Adolf Ali. The appointment of Adolf Ali comes in the wake of the demise of the regional chairman of the party, Tuguna Alhaji Ibrahim Mobila. Northern Regional Secretary of the party, Mohammed Abdul Salam, says the incident will be treated as a criminal matter.
When they went in my absence, my assistant who was there, they took his laptop that we've been working with in the office together with the bag, with some contents of other records, including even receipts of the chairman's funeral that with the donations, that they took those ones away and did all these things. So the police came, and what we know is that what happened are criminal issues. So we are dealing with that one. At the administrative level of the party, if anybody is aggrieved with decision, the same constitution says that you use the administrative processes to appeal to the office of the general secretary. You don't choose to send bandits to go and put the party's name into disrepute. That in itself is another violation of the party's rules. I believe that the national executives are clothed. We have reported the happenings to them, and at the appropriate time, the right decisions will be taken. Well, we have given the footages, the videos, and the names, including those who called to threaten, and their contact numbers to the police. So the police will follow up and ensure that the right thing is done. What has happened for me is a pack of what I will call indiscipline, a bubbled ball of indiscipline instigated by one person who has very little understanding of our party's due processes.
Right, and we're going on Zoom to speak to our northern regional. We're going on the phone to speak to our northern regional correspondent, Al Hassan D Baba. Al Hassan, good evening.
Good evening, Birgit.
Earlier, you reported of the situation that it's changed. What more can you tell us this evening on what's happened at the NDC office and the persons involved?
Okay, there has been this disagreement between these two factions of NDC in the northern region, not today. If you can quite remember, there was this fight between the chairman who just passed away, Alhaji Ibrahim Mobla,
Mobla,
and
yeah.
the vice chairman, Alhaji Velem. And this issue has been running between them for some time now. So after the demise of the regional chairman, they were expecting that the vice chairman, one of the vice chairman, that's Alhaji Velem, should have been the acting chairman, but that did not happen. Mr. Adolf was selected to act in that capacity, and some of the youth groups were not happy that Mr. Adolf was selected. So that brought about all this. So I went to the regional police command, and my sources there confirmed to me that a number of the youths have been identified and they are going to arrest them and prosecute them. According to them, all the guns that were used, they will have to retrieve it because it's a dangerous thing. Because if you were at the party headquarters this afternoon, you could realize that the guns that were used were heavy guns, and people were wondering where civilians could get those guns. So the Northern Regional Command, even though they refused to
You
speak
said the
on
guns
record,
were what? Military guns? Is that what you said?
yeah, they were assault rifles, yes.
Assault
Serious guns,
rifles. All right.
Those the military and the police are using.
Okay.
Those were the guns they were using
Okay.
at the
Al Hassan, so you're saying that as of this moment, as you speak to Metro Television, not a single person has been arrested?
Not yet. Not a single person has been arrested yet, but the Northern Regional Police Command confirmed to me that they are going to arrest those who have been identified to be taking part in this act, but they haven't
Okay.
arrested anybody yet. And
What-
I even met a number of the regional executives at the police headquarters, and according to the information I am picking from there, some of them are going there to tell the police that they should not arrest the boys, whilst the regional secretary and his team are insisting that those boys should be arrested and dealt with to ensure that nobody does that in the future.
Okay, who else has spoken from the party, the National Democratic Congress, in respect of
Well,
the incident?
currently, all the people we contacted, they are not ready to speak
To
because
speak.
they think that the issue is very delicate and nobody wants to put his head forward. So
Okay.
the issue is only, or the one who spoke is the party secretary. Even
Okay,
the
all right.
acting chairman we contacted said everything should be done by all the communication should be channeled through the regional secretary, who is the mouthpiece and the administrator of the party in the region.
Okay, all right. Al Hassan D Baba, thank you very much. Definitely, we'll stay on this and we'll come back to you in our subsequent bulletin on what else has happened. If there will ever be an arrest, and if they'll be charged, the level of distraction, and also moving forward. Why do we have guns in civilian hands? Are they registered? Were they wielded by the persons, by the rightful owners of those guns? We'll definitely look at that. Okay, so away from that, we apologize to viewers that the pictures coming up some could find it very, very, very disturbing. 3 persons suspected to be armed robbers have been killed in a shootout with the police at Aroma Junction, a suburb of Obosumasi Ekuapem in the eastern region. A gang of 4 persons engaged the police in a shootout, but they were gunned down while one was arrested. The deceased names were only giving us Ahre, Akroma, and Elisha, who are all natives of the town. Reports say Ahre and Akroma are all ex-convicts. Some residents say at about 7 a.m. on Tuesday, they rushed to the scene. They rushed to the scene after they heard gunshots, only to find the 3 laying in a pool of blood. And we're trying to connect with the Eastern Regional Police Command for more details on it and what they are suspected to have taken. Right, we'll try and touch base with the Eastern Regional Police Command to get more on this and what crimes, those who passed, what crimes were they in for, and what other crimes did they commit? Okay, so away from that, President Akufo-Addo says his government is investing heavily in electricity transmission networks to enhance power supply throughout the country. And he was speaking at the commissioning of a 13-megawatt solar power plant in Kaleo during his second day tour of the Upper West region.
On the second day of his tour of the Upper West region, President Akufo-Addo inspected ongoing work at the Wa Shopping Center and another Agenda 111 hospital project at Isa. He then proceeded to Kaleo to commission a 13-megawatt solar power plant. The project is the first phase of a 28-megawatt plant in the area. At the ceremony, President Akufo-Addo said the plant aligns with plans to enable Ghana evacuate more renewable energy through the national grid to extend power to all parts of the country.
The project, along with ongoing interventions in the area of energy efficiency, use of natural gas for thermal generation, adoption of cleaner cooking solutions, decarbonization of oil production, amongst others, is helping us accelerate the attainment of our nationally determined contributions as presented at COP26 in Glasgow in the United Kingdom. The Akufo-Addo government has invested heavily in the electricity transmission network, which will enable us to evacuate more renewable energy through the national grid to support the extension of electricity to all parts of Ghana.
Government, he says, has secured additional funding from the German Development Bank for the construction of another 15-megawatt plant in the community. The project is expected to be completed within a year.
Kaleo has a dedicated transmission line that evacuates power from the current and future solar capacity at Kaleo to the grid co-substation at Wa. At peak sun hours, the Kaleo and Laura plants can meet the entire load at Wa and its environs. This can make Wa the greenest city in Ghana.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has been enskinned Yilamangana, to wit, Chief of Truth, by traditional authorities at Dafiama Busie Isa.
And you're live here on Metro Television. It's News Night. And still to come, Fufu Pounders Association are threatening to strike. What's the impact of that? We'll be back with more. Welcome back to News Night. Head of the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Alidu Seidu, says President Akufo-Addo's resolve not to support any of the aspirants in the party's flag bearership race will enhance post-election unity and confidence to individuals seeking to lead in the party in the 2024 elections. President Akufo-Addo, in an interview with Nandom FM in the Upper West region, said he had no preference in the upcoming race.
The ruling New Patriotic Party will next year elect a presidential candidate to lead the party in its quest to break the eight. So far, a number of individuals are known to have expressed interest in the race, including Trade Minister Alan Kyerematen and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who many suggest has the full backing of President Akufo-Addo. However, in an interview with Nandom FM, President Akufo-Addo stressed that he has no favorite, but rather working to ensure a level playing field for all the contenders.
Overall arbiter and umpire of the whole exercise, I have to shepherd the party to a good conclusion. Okay. Even if I have a preference, the only time that preference will be shown is when I go to vote. but until then, I can't have any preference. My attitude is a simple one.
Okay.
Let's create the conditions for a fair, transparent process.
Okay.
One that will enable us, after the competition, to unite the party. Okay. So we want out of that process somebody who will come, who will have the capacity to unite our party and put it in a position to confront the traditional opponent, the National Democratic Congress. and beat the National Democratic Congress.
Head of the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Ali Duseidu, says the timely pronouncements by the president will reassure all aspirants of a fair game.
And as a father of the party now, all of them will require his support one way or the other. So for him to put himself in a very neutral position and create an enabling environment for the right person to be elected by the party, and after that, he demonstrates beyond words and support the elected candidate, then I bet you he's putting the party in a position that will make them more competitive in 2024, and perhaps may win or break the gate as the party want to achieve.
He further urged the president to go beyond words by demonstrating leadership and support for all candidates.
If the president comes up boldly and makes this kind of statement, then it is one of the serious ways to unite the rank and file of the party. And I suspect that people may want the president to just go beyond words and commit his actions.
Governance expert Ni Amate thinks government should rather concentrate on the worsening economic conditions instead of who will lead the party.
The economy should be looked at once again. The cedi is plummeting still against the major currencies. The dollar is about 10 cedis now, and the pound is skyrocketing. It's unfair. It is not good at all, and it's not as if it's stable. Today you buy something at 10 cedis, tomorrow you go to 11 cedis, the next day. I mean, look at the petrol and the amount of money you pay every day for a liter. They should put the economy right. They should prove to us that they still have the men. Bawumia should show that is the head of the think tank. I mean, let us begin to see Ghana as ours again.
Governance expert Ni Amate is advising the opposition National Democratic Congress to elect fresh executives to lead the party into the 2024 elections. And he was speaking on the back of reports that the Deputy General Secretary of the party, Peter Otokuno, has already declared his intention to vie for the General Secretary position.
The National Democratic Congress will later this year hold its National Delegates Conference to elect party executives. So far, a number of individuals, including some current executives, have shown interest in the race. While current General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia is aiming for the national chairmanship position, his deputy Peter Otokuno is hoping to succeed him as the next General Secretary. Governance expert Ni Amate believes Peter Otokuno has what it takes to be the chief scribe of the NDC.
Well, I think Otokuno has done quite a lot for the NDC party. At a point in time, he was the voice of the party, especially when they find themselves in this opposition status. And Otokuno has done a lot. I mean, he's put himself out there, giving punches and receiving punches. If you listen to his statement at the NPP executive party or the selection or so, he actually looked into the faces of all the brave men ruling Ghana and told them a bit of his mind, telling them what state of the economy we have and how things are so bad, and carried some thinking too.
He has, however, advised the party to replace a number of current executives if it's determined to win power.
Well, definitely. How many times have they not had defeats? Okay? They've faced defeats on 2 occasions at the national level, and it's not a good thing for a party. And you do not use the same team to continue playing a game and you continue to lose. If you use the same team and you're losing, you definitely, as a captain, you definitely know you need to change. And with the support of Asiedu Nketia, Otokuno will definitely take the general executives position. They definitely need a few changes, especially when 2024 beckons to them. I think they need to have their acts right.
And to one of our headline stories, and the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association has described the decision by the Youth Employment Agency to train senior high school graduates to assist in the community health service as demeaning to unemployed graduate nurses in the country. Meanwhile, the Youth Employment Agency has explained the SHS leavers will not offer nursing roles.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, Alhaji Ibrahim Bashiru, at the launch of the CS Ghana Job Fair said about 5,000 senior high school graduates will be employed by government to assist nurses with services, including recording medical history and providing bedside care to patients, among others. However, members of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association has kicked against the decision. In an interview with Metro News, the Assistant Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association, Philemon Japon, described the move as demeaning.
We are saying that YEA should, as a matter of urgency, halt the process of training SHS graduates to fill the capacity of nurses. It can be, and it shouldn't be. And we can't continue to do things in a negative way and propagate things that will go to demean or reduce the value that is placed on the Ghanaian nurse.
Meanwhile, Communications Director of the Youth Employment Agency, Akwesi Afriyie, insists the SHS graduates will not be required to offer professional nurse duties.
These young people are not nurses, they are not doctors, they are not health professionals. They are only coming in to assist where there is a deficiency, where there is a shortfall. And this is why we are coming in. So for us as a government agency, mandated by the government of Ghana and the Parliament of Ghana to create employment, ours is to make sure that the teeming youth or the teeming young men and women who are aspiring to become nurses in the future, but for one reason or the other, for example, not having the requisite certificate to enter the nursing school, or even have the certificate but has a problem with finances, we will be able to help that person become the nurse he aspires, or he or she aspires to become.
Some nurses and midwives are still awaiting to be posted to various parts in the country. Hence, the call by the association for the YEA to rescind its decision to employ SHS leavers.
Still on nurses, and the Aggrieved Certificate Nurses Association has given government a 6-working-day ultimatum to have the 2019 certified nurses posted or face their wrath. My colleague Elvis Ando has the rest of the story.
So behind me are concerned NAP and NAC nurses who have not been employed, and they are here at the Ministry of Finance to petition the ministry as to why they have been given clearance. They've registered on the various portals that are expected to have them get to their various posts of duties, but till date, since 2019 when they completed, they have not been given the opportunity to serve their motherland, that is Ghana. So let me just get from them, what are your major concerns here, please?
We came here to do a follow-up and then also picket the Ministry of Finance. Why? Because they've issued this clearance to us. The same clearance which was issued to the diplomas and then the degrees and we ourselves. Now, this same clearance has paved way for the degrees and the diplomas. And now they are at post. Now, it is now our turn. But where are we? We are in the house. After that, they will go and sit behind the scenes, that's on televisions and radio stations, telling the public that they've posted us. It's not true. We are still in the house.
What have the Ministry of Health been telling you?
All that they've been telling us is assurances. Today, this, tomorrow, that. And then we are not convinced with the assurances. They should prove to us with documents before a badge can be given clearance. It means government or Ministry of Finance has made an allocation for those badges. And since this document is out, meaning we've already given clearance. So why are we still at home?
What do you make of the YEA, that's the Youth Employment Agency's decision to have graduates, that is SS graduates, help in serving, as in the CHIPS compound? What do you make of that?
It is an insult to the nursing fraternity. This is because how can you train a professional nurse for 2 to 3 years and reject him and go in for an SHS graduate to work in a CHIPS compound? It is totally an insult.
Our concern now to the Ministry of Health, by the end of this month, August, if our postings or if they don't post us, we will demonstrate for the whole world to know that they are disgrace to the nursing fraternity. Thank you.
So this is one of the leaders who just gave a submission that they are not so happy about what government is doing to them. That is a delay to have them at their various posts. Reporting for Metro News, my name is Elvis Andor, Finance Ministry, Accra.
And I'm sure you've seen this flyer flying around of fufu pounders threatening to strike. And if there's one reason why most Ghanaians refuse to adopt a less laborious way to pound fufu, it's because they believe it is worth the sweat. Unfortunately, efforts by some of these fufu pounders seem to go unnoticed as they continue to struggle with poor pay and other challenges. In the central region, fufu pounders have threatened to strike if their pay is not increased. Watch the story.
The association is demanding an increase in their pay. They say most chop bar operators pay as low as 10 Ghana cedis in spite of the difficult nature of their job. Members of the group say the current economic hardship is affecting them as they are unable to care for their families.
Maybe sometime, if you do today morning to evening, after 8 o'clock to even 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, but my pay is no good.
You say you're mad, but maybe I will not say.
We are aware times are hard, but at least our bosses must consider how difficult our job is and increase our pay. We have families to take care of. Chop bar operators must see us as one of their own and treat us well.
And yeah, Bluka, baby, I gonna find him now. Mom, Islam say, Ukafu be Bakla, wow, Bakla, no, what it's in. That's one should near Grandpa.
Some people shared with the news team what they make of the association's decision to strike.
This is what we eat when we return from Accra. We love fufu, and if these pounders should go on strike, we will be greatly affected. Something has to be done about their pay.
Every day when you wake up, there's price increase of fuel. And Ghana, when we increase fuel, everything that shoot up, you understand. Yes, anything that we do in this country is about fuel. And so, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter. Yes, for me, I'm even going to eat fufu right now as I speak to you. And I'm granting this interview. Yeah, you met me on the way to go and eat fufu. Yeah, it will affect me because the only food that I eat outside as a fancy brethren is fufu. It will affect me in a way, but they also have a right to demand their right because the economy is too harsh. Boys can't survive. It is simple mathematics. It is time you and I have to say the truth.
Chop bar operators who spoke to Metro News said they are worried about high food prices. They are therefore calling on the government to come up with measures to improve the country's economic situation. They have also pledged to take concerns raised by the workers into consideration, as many fufu lovers prefer pounded fufu to fufu made in machines.
How can we increase their pay when food prices are high? Things are very difficult. We are spending so much on foodstuffs and transportation, but we'll consider what they are saying and see what we can do. We will definitely increase their pay. We are spending so much on foodstuff and transportation. That's why things have turned out this way, but things will definitely change.
And there's nothing like Burma on Coin. You watch that? Oh, please, they shouldn't strike. We beg them, but they should increase their pay. I agree with them. I think that 10 cities is just too small. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the latest in business. And Ken is already in the studio. Stay with us.
Welcome back. My name is Kenneth Jesse, and in business tonight, an economist, Courage Botey, has backed calls for government to make the Chinese yuan an alternative currency for trading to ease pressure on the US dollar. This call was made by the Ghana Union of Traders Association over the current cedi depreciation, which is affecting their businesses.
Free fall of the Ghana cedi has compelled the trade unions to spill out their frustrations on how it is affecting their business. According to the Ghana Union of Traders Association, government needs to intervene with practical solutions that will save the cedi from further depreciation. The GUTA president, Dr. Joseph Obeng, at a press conference called on government to make the Chinese yuan an alternative currency for trading to ease pressure on the dollar.
As the bulk of our import comes from China, we have suggested on several occasions that we better use the yuan as an alternative to ease the pressure on the United States dollar, as has been done by other nations in the world, such as Zimbabwe.
Economist Courage Botey has backed this call, saying this can help a large number of traders to go to Chinese market.
It is feasible, and I think it's something the Bank of Ghana talked about some time past. I mean, there's no denying that China is now a force to deal with in the global economy. They are a global giant. In fact, China is practically the world's factory, and the US, the UK, the main players in that space have all come to that recognition that China is a force. And so the earlier we as major trade partners of China, adapt our trade strategies to also suit us and make life a bit more comfortable for us, the better for us. I think, I do not have official statistics to back it, but I think China, a lot of our trade origin is from China really for most of the things we use in our local market. Now, it's about making that currency tradable. It's about having access to it. And all it might take really is making quantities of it available on the local market and a platform to value it and trade it.
He added that this is an option worth exploring since it will ease pressure on the dollar.
Right, and a fiscal policy expert, Dr. Alex Ampabin, has backed the special prosecutor's call to investigate auctioned goods in the country over alleged tax evasion. Now, the OSP has also demanded the auctioning of goods be halted. Concerns have been raised about how goods are auctioned for cheap when the original owners are unable to pay the high taxes on the said goods at the ports.
Addressing participants at a forum under the theme, The Role of Digitalization in Promoting Progressive Property Taxation and Tax Compliance in Ghana, an international fiscal policy expert, Dr. Alex Ampabin, said government must prosecute corrupt officials who are found culprit of causing financial loss to the state.
To do the work, part of why we are where we are in terms of our revenue generation not being strong is because of corruption. So if he's able to probe that certain individuals have acquired government auction cars or auction cars at the port without paying the right amount, surely people will be forced to pay the difference. And I do believe that this actually sends a strong message to the organizers, to the beneficiaries. And I also do hope that if people are found to have engaged in corrupt practices, the punishment should be severe, it should be open to send a strong signal to all of us.
GUTA President Dr. Joseph Obeng called for a proper interpretation of the tax system to Ghanaians and also charged the government to make taxation in the country compulsory.
There's no need to dodge tax payment. It is good for you. Whilst doing that, you are also helping the nation to have a bit to develop the country for all of us. If you are building a system, the tax system shouldn't be discriminatory. And you should bring everybody on board. Let's expand the tax net.
Reginald Yofi Grant is the CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center.
If I am paying taxes, I should know why I'm paying, I should know how much I'm paying, and I should know what it's going to be used for, and that will make it easier for me to understand. But that is still arguable, because even though we understand the purpose of our taxes, we don't pay easily. And almost every individual will be looking for ways to either evade or avoid taxes if possible. Every system needs to understand its taxes, its taxation, how it's deployed, how it's collected, and what it is used for. But the essence of it all, for me as an individual, for you as a person listening, for every entity, is that you must pay your taxes.
The one-day forum is to further draw the attention of the government to widen the tax net and make sure people comply.
And that's it for business. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Sports News is next with Phil John Korte.
My name is Phil John Korte, and it's time for sports. With less than 19 days to the start of the 2022 World Cup, the Al Mammy Stadium, situated in Doha, is ready for use.
Al Thumama Stadium is perhaps the most Arabic in its aesthetic. Named after a native tree, its design is based on the traditional gaafiyah, a woven hat popular amongst Arabic men. It's an unusual design choice for a football stadium. Still, it certainly strikes a bold and elegant image on the Qatari skyline. In fact, so inspiring is the design that it was awarded the MIPIM Architectural Review Future Project Award in the Sports and Stadiums category in France. Located in Al Thumama, a district of Doha, the stadium is just 12 kilometers south of the city center. The glistening stadium is therefore planned to be at the heart of the tournament, featuring 8 games including a quarterfinal. Like other stadiums, it has a capacity of 40,000 people, planned to be reduced to 20,000 following the tournament. It's also part of a wider development project. The $342 million stadium sits in a 50,000 square meter public park, brimming with greenery, not often seen in the arid country. It's a clear statement of Qatar's environmental ambitions. Where the 20,000 seats are removed, a boutique hotel is planned, and a branch of the world-renowned Aspetar Sports Clinic. A mosque will also feature inside the stadium, highlighting a desire for the arena to continue to serve the community long after the tournament has ended. After all, though Qatar is among the world's wealthiest countries, wasting billions on stadiums is a step too far, even for them. Already, the stadium has hosted 6 games in the FIFA Arab Cup 2021, including a semi-final between host nation Qatar and Algeria.
We're still talking about the Mundial. The president of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kriko, is calling on African countries which will participate in the Mundial to use the image of the championship to promote tourism.
Now, we are both going to the World Cup. I'm praying that Ghana Cameroon meet in the semi-finals. You know?
Not in finals.
No, and then no, you're right. In the finals, so that everybody in the world would keep quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
Once upon a time, and it will happen. It will happen because I know you are putting in a lot of effort. I remember one of your engagements with your players in the changing room when you were like giving it to them. I said, guys, we have to perform, you know, and it happens. I also took over a football nation that was struggling, obviously, and we had to do a lot of work. I mean, getting that victory against my senior brother Maju Pinnick was not easy. I mean, you saw the game in Abuja. I mean, crazy game. Unfortunately, it was either Ghana goes out or Nigeria goes out. And I think God was for Ghana.
The same again, Algeria.
Exactly. Look at your game in Algeria. But what's most important is that we go out there as ambassadors of Africa. And it's been too long for an African nation to lift the trophy. But I think that for all the things that we are doing, I am sure that it's going to happen.
GFA President speaking to the 2022 World Cup ambassador Samuel Eto'o here in the Ghanaian capital of Accra. My name is Phil John Quartey. Up next, Showbiz.
My name is Asiedo Akumia and it's time for Showbiz. Award-winning Ghanaian gospel artist Emoji Music said on Entertainment Review that gospel songs must perform an assignment. If it doesn't do that, you have failed.
See, truth be told, right? Anything that goes to perform an assignment must have a corresponding response.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So if a gospel song does not perform its assignment, then it means it's not serving its purpose. This microphone is supposed to transmit signals for everybody at home to hear my voice. If it doesn't do that, it's not serving its purpose. So if I put a gospel song out there and it doesn't serve the purpose by touching the heart of somebody, or bringing somebody to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ, or bringing somebody into a space where the person decides to give his life to Jesus Christ, or the person I just saw a video, my wife just sent me a video, and a guy was drinking Hennessy, smoking weed, and all that, chanced on my belated video, and he broke into tongues. It's on my phone now. The guy broke into tongues, and now he's preaching in church.
Wow.
So the song must perform an assignment. If it doesn't do that, you have failed.
Gospel artist Perez Music supported Emoji Music by stating an example of gospel songs going beyond just touching hearts.
Okay, so just to add on to what my big brother has said, the foundation of every gospel music is Christ. And the most important purpose is that it should touch her heart, transform life, shape destinies or whatever. For instance, but for me, like in 2015, I did an album, Tenacity. It was an Afro album. My main aim for that album was not what my brother was saying. I wanted to get the young people in churches something to groove to. And I think it served its purpose because I released Suddenly, I released Shake It, I released For Your Love. And almost every church, every youth church,
dance to that.
They were dancing to it. Every youth church in this country, from the northern region to the southern region, everybody was dancing to it. That was what I felt the Holy Spirit laid on my heart
and it served its purpose.
And it served for me. It served. It really did. It really did. And even up to now, people are still dancing to those songs, just like preachers. King's Kids, I Got My Jesus On, But then the most important thing is that, so somebody heard like my Suddenly song like that, and I was like, is this gospel? Where can I find more of it? It's Agbaja. Do you understand? Where can I find more of it? So probably by listening to my song will lead him to listen to Emoji and listen to preachers. And at a point might be listening to preachers, and then the song might just zoom in. Spotify might just play Emoji's music. And then, so everything has its purpose, like you said.
Well, that's it for Entertainment News. My name is Asiedo Akumia. Bridget?
Thank you very much, Asiedo. International News is next.
A group of Kenyans have filed cases against the UK government at the European Court of Human Rights for alleged colonial abuses. These include alleged theft of land, which is still being used by tea firms. The clans say the UK's alleged lack of engagement to seek redress has violated the European Convention on Human Rights. Representatives for the Talai and Kipsigis, who are originally from Kencho County, say they tried to meet with UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss in May 2022 2022 but were turned down. Qatar has deported migrant workers who protested about unpaid wages as the country prepares for the Football World Cup in November 2022. At least 60 workers rallied outside Al Bandari International Group's Doha offices on 14th August. Some reportedly had not been paid for 7 months. A number of protesters were detained and some were deported, although it is not known how many. The government said those who were deported had breached security laws. A third of Europe is under some sorts of drought warning in what is likely the worst such event in 500 years. The latest report from the Global Drought Observatory says 47% of the continent is in warning conditions, meaning soil has dried up. Another 17% is on alert, meaning vegetation shows signs of stress. The report warns that the dry spell will hit crop yields, spark wildfires, and may last several months more in some of Europe's southern regions.